It's just another video game podcast, episode 8, with the usual suspects, Jeremy and Bryan.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We just did a special Nintendo Switch episode. We're not really going to talk much about that other than this intro here. If you wanted to hear our thoughts, it'll probably get dropped in a couple times. If you wanted to listen to that long discussion, we talk about pretty much everything that they revealed. It's a little over an hour long, but I think it'll be a good episode to listen to.
I can't wait to hear it.
For this episode, this is going to be a normal episode. Let's start it off like we always do. What have you been up to this last week, Bryan?
Been busy. Did manage to squeeze in a little bit of Borderlands 2, actually.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started playing through that. When it first came out, I was hanging out at a friend's house before and after work a lot, and playing through it with him or watching him play through it. The original Borderlands, watched a lot of that through Giant Bomb. Jeff Gerstmann was really, really into that game, and you got to see every time there's a new expansion. I watched all those videos. I really wanted to play it. Didn't have the means to do so at the time. I really like Borderlands. Borderlands 2 is a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time in the menu, and a lot more time than I would like.
Looking at guns and matching stats and all that stuff.
It's not as streamlined as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
It does feel a bit tedious at times.
Well, it is, the Diablo sort of thing of just, it's all about getting the best weapons, and you spend so much time just looking at stats that I loved Borderlands. I played a lot of Borderlands 2, played a lot of the DLC. It was great how much they supported that game with the expansions and all that. That's one of those games where I don't even like calling it DLC because they were expansions. Like, you really got a lot out of every release that they did for that.
Yeah, I'd really love to play as a Necromancer character, but I'm not going to shell out the money for that. I'm playing as a Siren. I really like the Siren a lot. I haven't gone down the other skill trees. I think I'm at level 16. So
I didn't like, I kind of liked it, but overall, I didn't like the way that when you died, it was like you really barely lost anything.
You lost some money, loot was still on the ground, characters you killed were still dead. Maybe their health, the people that were alive, their health is back to normal or back to full. But yeah, you're not penalized too much.
I liked the way that you could sort of save yourself whenever you were about to die.
The second wind is a really cool feature. I like that a lot.
But like I said, or like you said, you just didn't get penalized for it.
No, and in some ways, though, that works against me because I feel like I'm invincible, and then I realize, oh, I've just lost a lot of my money. Right. I should be hanging on to more of this.
Sorry about the noise. We've got a cat taking a poop near us.
I hope that's all he's doing.
Anything else?
I downloaded I Am Alive. That's the Games with Gold 360 game.
Yep.
For this half of the month. I have not played it yet.
I didn't hear it was really that good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just an off month with Motocross ATV game, which wasn't that great. I'm still willing to give it a shot. It is a single player game. So I don't know. I might dive into that. I still have not touched Mirror's Edge either. And
have you ever played it?
I have not.
Oh, I really enjoyed the first Mirror's Edge. And yeah, it's short. There's not... The great thing about Mirror's Edge was there's a lot of ways that you could tackle certain things, but you never got rewarded for it. Like, there weren't like skill points or anything like that you would get, or like, they didn't grade you on anything like that other than how quickly you completed something. But I enjoyed that game enough that after I beat it, I played through it again, not even worried about like the collectibles and everything, but just coming up with different ways to traverse the levels. Like, I always thought that was really fun. I haven't played the second one, or whatever they're calling the Catalyst one, the prequel, remake, whatever it is.
Something like that.
I really enjoyed the Mirror's Edge games.
It's the same thing with Beyond Good and Evil. I want to set aside some time to do that. And the holidays coming up, time is very valuable and sparse for me right now.
Sure. Is that it?
Pretty much. I play Clash Royale every day.
Yeah, still on that Clash Royale.
I'm trying to pull myself away, but I'm just so damn good at it.
Can't blame you. I have been playing the PSVR.
Oh, do tell.
Oh, I will. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but It's amazing. I played through the Batman game. I haven't been this excited about like new gaming hardware or tech since the 360. Okay. Since we jumped into the HD. Because the feeling of playing a game VR when it works is amazing. Because it's beyond, you know, you have with 3D TVs, with 3D gaming, with things like the 3DS, with PS3 did some 3D stuff. You would get a feeling like the game is coming out of the screen at you, and that's kind of cool. With VR, you are going into the game. It's almost like the reversal of it. Yeah. And that's what it should have been. It is what 3D gaming is meant to be. It is what motion gaming is meant to be. I've got the complete bundle, so I've got the Move controllers. When it works, and I keep saying that when it works. Playing through Batman, I rarely had any problems. Okay. The hands
problems being
sensors not picking up exactly what I'm doing.
Because with the PSVR, it is looking for the lights on your Move controllers, on the visor itself.
And sometimes there's problems with that. I'll get into a big problem I had later on. But for Batman, it's a very short experience, but you feel like you're Batman.
Sweet.
When you're trying to like solve things, you can look down at any time and you have your bat belt with your gadgets, and you have a grapple hook, and you have a scanner and a batarang. Playing that enough, you get in the habit where you rarely ever have to actually look down at it. You can just, as long as you're standing in the right position, you're not turned some weird way, you can easily reach down your front, throw a batarang really quick. It just becomes so natural.
And it does actually work, because I remember at E3 people were like, throwing the batarang was kind of weird.
It works 75% of the time. Okay. And that 75% of the time is great. Okay. The feeling that you get, as Batman spends a lot of time looking down on a city. He hangs out in high places a lot.
He's a loner.
And even just starting the game up, you start up at GCPD, but you're up high and you can see down below. You can see streets, and you can walk forward a little bit and look over the ledge, and it feels like you're up high. Like if you have problems with heights, VR is not going to be good for you because it really makes you feel like you're up high. There's a lot of times like that where you're in these places that you feel like you're really there, that even though you're just standing in your living room or something like that, the worst thing you have to worry about is tripping over some cords or bumping into a table or something like that.
Dog here and there.
You feel like you could fall off this ledge.
That's cool.
And it's amazing. The motion with it, using the Move controllers, is pretty cool because it feels natural. Near the beginning, you're in Wayne Manor. Alfred comes up to you. He tells you some things, and he hands you a key. He just has a key out in his hand. It's just natural to reach out, hold down the trigger, pick it up, and you have it in your hand. And you can just turn it around, look at it. It's amazing. And you stick it right in the keyhole, turn the key, everything was fine. Everything works so well.
For something they've shoehorned into existing tech, they seem to have done a really good job with it.
Yeah, it reminds me of what the Wii could have been when you have this simple controller, like playing bowling. Bowling motion was so simple, but it was fun. It was gratifying. You get that with PSVR in these kind of games. And I'm really excited for games that I don't think action games are going to do well on it. I've played a couple other ones. I'll talk about those later. But in Batman, for the most part, you stay in one spot. There are a couple times where you can sort of almost teleport to different areas.
Does it use that to move around?
It does that to move around so you don't get nauseous. There is a part later on where you do move. You teleport to these areas that are real close to each other, and it doesn't cut away. And that feels all right, but it's like real quick jumps to it. I think that if you were actually moving towards it, and I've played a couple games that have that kind of thing, it's nauseating because you feel your body feels like your body's expecting a whole motion with it, and you're not getting that. But my favorite parts of it are when you're trying to put a puzzle together, sort of, that you have to. There's a part in it where you have to find all these little pieces to a bomb detonator. And then once you find them all, the Bat computer projects a 3D image in front of you in all these little pieces. And you can grab them out, each piece out of the air, move them around, and try to get them to lock together.
Okay.
amazing. I fucking love that. I'm a big fan of puzzle games, so this is perfect for me. And I think that going forward, puzzle games are going to be the best things on PSVR.
It seems like that so far.
I'm looking forward to more like room escapes sort of things, that you're in a small room or you're in a bigger room and you have 4 or 5 points that have things on them that you can look at little clues to puzzles. You can find things to put in an inventory, and you can easily pull them out and manipulate them and do that.
Are you planning on getting, is it Keep Talking and Nobody Dies?
I already did. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yes.
My wife and some of our friends are going to play it this weekend. I'm looking forward to that.
I want to come by and play that.
What's stopping you?
I don't know. I'm busy. I'm sorry. I really need to come by.
No, I mean, if you do come by, if you can set aside a couple hours to play, I would love for you to play all through Batman.
Okay.
Like I said, if you don't screw around, if you just play through it, there's a lot of little side things that you can mess around that don't really reward you with anything until you beat the game, and then you unlock the Riddler trophies to find. Mm-hmm. That's when you want to explore every chapter thoroughly. I'm really close to getting all the Riddler trophies. I had no problem jumping back in and doing all that because it's just so much fun to play that game. I might still just go back every once in a while and play around with it even after I've 100% of the game.
Okay.
Another game that I have played, I went through the demo disc, played a lot of those things that were on there.
It's the glorious return of PlayStation demo discs.
It's great because they have demos for almost every game that's on there.
That's important.
It really is.
I mean, especially if you've spent a lot of money on this device, it's important that Sony shows you that you have not made a mistake.
Right.
This is what you can be experiencing. I think in that regard they're doing well. Whether they keep supporting it, that's always that's the big question that everyone is wondering, is how far Sony will go along with this.
Well, if you look at the launch lineup, there's a lot of games that are in development that will be releasing within the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. That's great. I was worried that we were going to have a similar thing to like the Vita, that when the Vita came out, there was a good launch lineup, but then there were all these dry periods here in the States. In Japan, they get a lot of JRPGs and graphic novel games, things like that throughout its lifespan. They're still getting those now that we're really just getting indie ports.
Do they have like PSO on the Vita?
I think so. Yeah, we'll never get that one.
Our buddy Dean sent me. Apparently, there is a way to still play PSO on Dreamcast.
Yes, I tried doing that. Yeah, it was a little complicated.
It is? Okay. I want to give that a shot.
It's something that you have to buy a special modem for it, I think, which are really expensive. I think if that's right, because they don't use the 56K anymore,
Well, and why would they?
Yeah, I think you have to get like an Ethernet modem sort of thing with it. Something like that.
I'd be willing to do that if it means actually playing PSO, actually playing it online instead of just local to people, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but
another thing that I experienced with Batman that is an example of how amazing PSVR, how amazing VR is. You get this sense of invasion of your personal space.
Really?
That it feels so weird at first, but when you think about what you're doing and how you're feeling this, it's amazing.
Very beginning, really existential on you. Like, yeah, you just kind of let, I don't know, the believability of it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's spoiler alert, at the beginning of Arkham VR, Bruce's parents get killed, which I'm so fucking tired of that in every Batman thing.
Why can't they just go on vacation?
But there was a cool thing at the beginning of it. You start off, your little kid Bruce, which feels weird at first because you are short little Bruce, yes, and you have your parents, they look like giants in front of you. And, which by the way, I streamed the whole playthrough of it.
Okay.
Which you can find on our Twitch channel, JAVG Podcast. I've realized in my playthrough, it was the very first time playing through it, that I keep going, oh my god, wow! And you watch the video and it's just a 2D thing that it doesn't look like anything. It's really hard to explain that for people that haven't played it. But in that scene, you see your parents' killer. After he kills him, he gets real close up to you. And he says something like, yeah, and it feels like that. You feel like you gotta back away, like, oh my god. And he says something to you, I don't remember what it was. Something like, that's why you don't be a good guy, something like some bullshit thing. But he like leans in real close to you, and it's just like, oh my god, it really feels like he's right in front of you. And
it could use the little nose attachment that they're doing for the the fractured butthole.
Yeah, Noculus drift or whatever.
Smell the whiskey on his breath.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And later on, as you're playing through the game, when you unlock the Riddler trophies, you unlock character models that you can view. And it's really weird because when you just do like the normal characters, it's like there's a person just standing right in front of you, and you get real close to them. It's just so strange. I accidentally selected Killer Croc, which if you're not familiar with Killer Croc, he's a big mutant crocodile man, and he's massive. And when I did it, he's just towering in front of me, just looking down at me, and it scared me. Not like but like down to my bone.
I need to back up.
I need to run away from this thing. Move. And it's amazing that you get that feeling. I just want to do that to you when you finally do play it. Like there are parts with Killer Croc in there that are fucking terrifying. But when you're looking through the database in the Batcave at different character models and you select Killer Croc and this huge thing appears just right in front of you. Oh, it's intense. Another game I played, Job Simulator.
Ah, cool.
Which is great because I got my wife to play it, and she fucking loves the PSVR. When I explain this to her, I tend to speak in hyperbole. Everything's the greatest thing ever. Nothing else matters until this very thing is the most recent thing that I have played. I kept telling her about this. She was like, okay. And then I explained to her how it's real comfortable to wear with glasses, so I hear her. And she was like, oh, okay, she wears glasses. And without her glasses, she's like almost legally blind in one eye.
Completely lost.
So she finally played it, and I set her up with Job Simulator. I was like, this is a super simple game. It's really funny. It's cute, and it's just fun to play with. And she fell in love with it. Like, the very next day she called me at work, how do I set up the VR? Like, I was just like, I knew it, and I love it. I love that she's doing that. But Job Simulator is great. There's 4 games to play through. I'm also streaming that one. I'm breaking up by each job. The game itself...
What are the different jobs? I know there's the office cubicle,
gourmet chef, auto mechanic, and like gas station employee, convenience store worker is what it is.
But I want to try this.
They're almost all the same. If it wasn't a VR experience, if this played like Surgeon Simulator, wouldn't be as cool. It would just be another one of those. There's a million Surgeon Simulator ripoffs sort of thing where it's just like clumsily picking up items to do all that. But it's got good writing. The robots you talk to are really funny. In the auto mechanic one, if you turn on the radio, 2 of the channels are talk radio with the people from Rick and Morty.
Oh, really?
Doing their like improv, which it's fucking hilarious. They're just like, so those new cars, it's the best car today.
It's like watching the Cable episode.
Where they just improvise the whole thing.
Loose improvisational tone.
Yeah, and it's hilarious but then what you do is you get these little tasks that, like I said, if it was any other game doing these things, it would be the most boring thing ever. But it's fun because you'll get someone in the auto mechanic one, they'll say like, I need my oil changed, and you have like this closet of all these different things. You could give them the oil, you could pour hot sauce in there, you could pour all these things in there. You'd get some silly results every now and again. For the most part, it doesn't really change much. You can do whatever, and they'll say thank you, and then you go on to the next thing. The game itself, like I said, you look at it, it's kind of boring, but playing it in VR is so much fun.
And it reward you for your experimenting or trying, like, every now
and then? It's you really have to get creative with some things. In the gourmet chef one, you have to make soup at one point, and it will say whatever you put in the soup, when it gets done, it turns into like a Campbell's soup can, and it will say like broccoli and corn soup. Mm-hmm. If you take that soup and you make soup with that soup, and I did this in my my stream of it, I made soup and soup. I have this habit of just getting so hooked on just being like, I want to make something silly, and I'll just get obsessed with it. I'll get obsessed with, we have donuts here. Everything's going to be donuts. Yeah. You're going to have donuts and donuts and donuts. A lot of fun. Really easy to play. The other game that I played was Tumble VR. Have you heard of this one?
No, I have not.
It plays kind of like a Jenga kind of thing. There's a few different types of them. One is like you have these different types of blocks. You have to stack them as high as you can. One is you have this big tower. You plant these bombs on them. You have to put them in the right spot and detonate them to send them out as far as you can for points. And you get, bronze, silver, gold medals.
Boom blocks.
Boom block. It's a similar thing to boom blocks. There's like one where you have to guide a laser through a thing. I played the demo and I was like, this is really cool. I really like this. Bought the game and I have had so much trouble with it since.
Really?
Something with the sensors. You can use the move controller, but in order to rotate items, you have to flick your wrists in certain directions and it doesn't pick up very well. When you're trying to do precision stacking, it's not a good thing.
That doesn't sound like it would work very well. How and what kind of environment are you using the VR? Like, do you have to have a dimly lit room? Does it help?
It helps greatly.
Okay.
It seems. The problem I'm having with it that I'm seeing, and I'm not a developer, I'm not a programmer, I don't know these things. It seems like the VR is set up for individual games. That is up for that game developer to get it to work properly. It doesn't sound like that they have
that's what I've heard.
A quality kit to just base their game around, that they have to work within that, where I can play Batman and I can turn around and I can do all these things, and for the most part it senses me very well. But then I play a game like Tumble VR where you have to really play it with the DualShock, and you have this small area that the DualShock can stay in, and if you get out of there it turns red and it goes row, 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 and it's really annoying. The only options you have are to either turn all the audio off or all the audio on.
Okay.
Little robot guy that guides you through it. He's fine, except he has to give you the tutorial for every level, no matter how many times you've played it.
Oh, really?
Which fucking sucks. I figured I did the demo, and I was like, since I did the demo, I should be able to just skip right over this stuff. Nope, I have to do everything all over again. Then the tracking got really bad on the headset, where it kept jumping me forward. This is the first time I got motion sickness from it.
Okay.
Up until then,
it sounds like they didn't do a good job of putting that game together, though.
Yeah. Up until that, I thought I was going to be one of those people that never had the problem. I thought I was just immune to these things. Then I realized, no, it's really based on the game. It's really based on how they set that up. I talked with someone on Twitter about it, and they said that they had a similar issue, but what they did was basically turn all their lights off, and everything worked fine.
Okay.
I want to play through that game again, because when it works, it's a lot of fun. It's really fun picking up the blocks and like rotating things around, trying to stack them properly. But when the sensors mess up, it screws up the whole game. I played a little bit of PSVR Worlds. This was one of the action games that I played. It was like a sci-fi mech game. And this was the first game that I played where you can move freely. It is a first-person game, but it's first-person inside of a mech that's moving around freely. And I think that's how they're going to get away with these more action-oriented games, where I've heard that in straight first-person games, walking is really bad. That it screws things up, and that's the solution for it, is to have you inside of a thing that it's almost like you're on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It has like a head tracking sort of thing that you can aim with by looking around, which is really cool.
So you aim where you are moving by head tracking?
You aim your guns by head tracking, and then using the DualShock analog sticks, you can move the mech around.
Okay.
And it's like a bipedal, or not bipedal. It's like a four-legged mech sort of thing, like it walks. It's not like a tank.
Yeah.
It also has moments where you jump from like asteroid to an asteroid, and sometimes it changes like the level or like the balance that you're on, which is like, whoa, it's kind of weird when you're like floating around and the crazy stuff is happening. It's like a roller coaster ride kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of roller coasters, but this works fine for me because it's not as fast.
Yeah. And you don't have that feeling of G-forces on you.
Yeah, exactly. I played some of the demo stuff. I'm looking forward to getting around to playing Keep Talking Nobody Explodes. I printed off the manuals for that. I printed off 2 of them because I think that'll be funnier to have multiple people trying to figure out what I am doing and telling me what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and I heard that printing the manuals off rather than having it on tablets or phones is more the way to go. To actually have that tangible almost like board game way to play it.
And I skimmed through the manual, and it looks like a manual you would find for like a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Like of all the little parts and all of these little things and what they mean. It's just like looking at it, like, oh my God, like it's so stressful just thinking about having to do that. But I think it'd be a lot of fun. I played around with the Playroom, which is a free game that comes with it. They did the Playroom with the PlayStation camera when the system first launched. It was real basic. There were just little things that you could play with. I didn't get a chance to mess around with too much because I think most of the games require you to have multiple people, where one person has the headset on, the other people are watching the TV. Mm-hmm. A weird thing is that when you're in headset mode, the TV goes to a really low resolution. It doesn't stay at like a 1080p resolution.
So what people are watching?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that for those games, it will stay at the 1080p. But any other game, it does it at a low res. I think it's to
feed as much power as it can to the breakout box.
Right.
Okay.
Overall, PSVR, very comfortable. I've got a nice pair of studio headphones that I have with it. The 3D sound that you get with that adds so much to it. Being able to hear something off to your left behind you, and you look over there and there's something talking. It's amazing.
That's, just the immersion. That almost has to be there.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. If you are on the fence on it, as long as you don't have problems with motion sickness, problem with heights, if you have the money to spend, I would really suggest getting the launch bundle because it's the cheapest way to do it.
If you all of us have Move controllers and
exactly.
PSI is lying around.
Sony charges $100 for the pair of Move controllers alone. So normally the headset is $400 by itself, and then if you bought everything piecemeal, you'd be spending $560, and you wouldn't even get the PSVR Worlds game, which I think they're selling for another $40. Yeah. So that's an extra $100 that you would have to spend if you bought a piecemeal.
And it's so crazy that they're charging that much for these controllers, which are basically just backlogged PS Move controllers that have been sitting in a warehouse somewhere. They still have the micro SD.
Yeah,
they still have the old PS3 micro SD charging. But I don't know. On one hand, I think it's crazy that they're just using the old Move controllers. On the other hand, I think it's crazy that it took 5 years for its true purpose to actually come, to actually come to fruition. I don't know.
Now, a word of advice: if you are planning on buying them, though, don't buy used Move controllers.
The batteries are crap.
Yeah, a lot of. I'm fairly certain that with these quote unquote new Move controllers, they probably just took the old ones and replaced the batteries in them. Mm-hmm. I'm also pretty sure. Probably next year, Sony's going to announce a new controller for it.
I should hope so.
Something maybe with lights, maybe not the ice cream cone light setup, but something with lights all around them, on both sides, top and bottom sort of thing, something to better track it.
Steam Vive, the headset, just announced new controllers. They're working on new controllers.
They're working on them. They didn't announce new ones
what they look like, yes, but
they said we're working on prototypes for new controllers.
They took a look at the Oculus ones and the favorable reaction to those and said, well, hey, don't worry, we are fixing ours too.
Yeah, some issues I had with the headset other than the tracking is you want to make sure you're playing in a cold environment because you can put that headset on and it'll fog over really quick. It's easy enough to sort of pull the headset out a little bit, enough that you could fit a little microfiber cloth in there to clean the headset off. But yeah, make sure you got the AC on in there.
Okay.
You still get really sweaty if you're playing a lot in there. You're very active with it. I had to take a couple days off from playing it just because I was worn out from going to work, doing all that, and then coming home and just being so excited about playing it, but then being like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Picking up all these little things and Job Simulator.
It sounds like completely laughable thing that I'm so exhausted by picking things up and stuff. But no, it really is taxing, physically. You are tricking your mind that it is somewhere else, that you are doing these things. And I can see how it would just, the sense of fatigue, would come over you.
Now I wonder, going forward, if some things that they can iterate on with it, other than the headset, if maybe it's possible that they could allow you to hook up another camera. Maybe you could get a little splitter on there and have like 2 cameras somewhere to better track you.
And not in a room scale sort of way.
Just no, it won't be room scale, but it'll be closer to that. That it'd be a lot easier to see you. I don't know. I do think they're going to get new controllers. I don't think we're going to be seeing a new headset within the next 2 years. I think that's something, because that's the most expensive part.
I think they're more just, like you said, it is up to the developer to fine-tune the process for each specific game. So they're leaving it up to, like, because if some games work really well, that means that they put a lot of time and effort into making it work really well. And I think Sony is giving the people the development tools and saying it is up to you to make a decent experience for this.
Right. I forgot about one other game that I did play, which this is interesting because with Just Another Video Game Podcast, the YouTube channel, I did a review of this game. I think it was the first review I did of Bound. I didn't give it a good review because I just didn't think it was a very good game. They have a VR mode. I'm going to play through that whole game.
Really?
In VR, because it is so much cooler in VR. Because it takes you, rather than it being like, you're a fixed camera somewhere in the distance, you're so much closer and you are in there. And it feels so cool. You can have the person, like the character ballerina girl, walk up to you, and it really feels like she's right in front of you. And that feeling alone, I don't know, refreshes it for me to where I want to play through this. And I'm looking forward to PSX coming in December, that I think Sony's going to say, here's a list of games that have been released that we're adding VR modes to, and we're going to see things like that come up. And that's going to be awesome, because that was a free update. That was it Battlefront Star Wars game has a VR mode that you're going to do that
dogfight sort of,
and that's going to be a free thing. I think that's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. These games that I already had, suddenly I have more VR games.
More of a reason to play them.
I'm really excited for that. I don't think it's not going to be. I know it's not something as easy as just saying flip a switch if you have VR mode, but I think that there's going to be a lot of developers that will say, well, here's this game that I made, and I put a lot of time on it. Now a lot of people are buying it right now. That maybe if I add a VR mode to it, maybe it's easy for me to do just on that. That if I have a 3D game and I can do something like that, that I'll get more people to buy again. And it might be just a quick little solution to go to. Again, I don't know anything about development, but it seems like it would be something easier than making a whole new game, taking a game they already have and just adding that little feature.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's something that everyone needs to at least work on. I mean, just in a way to get acclimated or get used to what it takes to make a VR game. And if it's just putting a little mode in something that you already have and all of the assets are already there, it might be an easy way for a studio to just figure this out.
I'm hoping that we're going to get like some firmware updates with it or something that'll make the head tracking a little better. I think that maybe they could do something where it'll rely a bit more on the sensors in the helmet rather than the camera reading things.
Yeah.
Because there's times where I'm just standing there and it jumps a little bit, and it's like, I'm pretty sure there are sensors in the headset. I honestly don't know.
I think it is all light based. I don't
really
know. I think it is.
I mean, if that's the case,
I
don't know. I'm hoping that they can figure out some things to make things a little bit more stable. I hope that they improve the theater mode. Theater mode is like whenever you're on the PlayStation menu, all it does is put a giant screen in front of your face.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. You get a feeling of having this huge screen. Mm-hmm. But it'd be great if they added some options of like, you could set your own room that you would be in doing that sort of thing. Maybe you could be in an Uncharted cave or something like that with this playing on a wall or something like that. Yeah.
Do you know if I can't remember, is Bridge Crew coming to this?
I don't know what
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yes, it is coming.
Okay, cool. I think that got delayed, but still, I'm interested in.
If they do a demo, you'll be able to play it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not a Star Trek fan, but
I'm a Next Generation fan, so maybe that video of Geordi being the captain back at E3 is all I need. But that was a lot of fun to watch.
If they have a demo, I'll let you know. so you can come over and play it.
Okay.
If you ever do.
I will. I'm telling you, I will.
Any other questions? I covered sort of my experience. Hopefully, when you try it out, we'll be able to talk about it.
I really want to try it.
I'll be playing a lot more games. There's a lot of games to try. I'm really excited. I want to try Wayward Sky, which I played the demo of that, which looks really cool. It's like a, what do they call it? It's point and click adventure kind of thing. In the demo, you have it where you're kind of like a god view to tell these little thing that looks like a little claymation kind of thing you're looking at, saying go over here, and they walk around, and then when they get to a puzzle, you zoom into their first person view, and you can like manipulate the puzzles to do it out like that. I want to try that one out. Definitely going to get Rez here soon.
Yes.
Really excited to play that one. Yeah, there's a lot of games out there. I still haven't gotten super hypercube.
Crazy library. They have a crazy library already, and that's encouraging at the very least.
And I'll be streaming whatever I can of that. I'm going to try once I can get things figured out. Honestly, I don't think I'll be streaming Tumble VR again because I don't think there isn't enough interesting things in there to stream. Mm-hmm. It is sort of, you can look at a video of it and get an idea. It's cool playing in the VR, but that doesn't translate in a 2D image. Yeah. I think the games that are more original games will be better. Like, I look forward to playing through the things that I can add my own commentary to, make it worth watching me stream it, which I think worked pretty well for Job Simulator.
Yeah.
Anything else to ask for now?
No, I'm just ready to try it.
Yeah. We got an announcement aside from the Twitch announcement or a reveal announcement. We got an announcement earlier. Twitch.
Today was a fun little day. We got a couple Zelda videos, which you point out that there's nothing really new or special there, but it still gave me a little.
Exciting.
It still gave me a little nerd chub. And the Switch video and ooh boy, some new Red Dead.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Interesting name choice considering it is. I think they could have gone with something else, but whatever. Let Rockstar do what Rockstar do.
I think this is going to be a start of it. I think that's what they're trying to do. Is that it's going to be GTA and Red Dead Redemption. Okay. Rather than trying to say Red Dead something, yeah. They're going to say this is what the series is.
Because
this is a Western.
They didn't. Rockstar did not make Red Dead Revolver.
Right.
They made Red Dead Redemption, so it makes sense that they're like, no, we are calling this is our game. This is the sequel to our game. Similar to like what happened with Max Payne. Yeah.
Although they did just say they did Max Payne 3. I don't know if we're ever going to get another Max Payne from them.
I don't know if we're ever going to get another Bully from them, but
probably not. I don't think you can do a Bully in this day and age.
I don't know. Bully's fun.
So, a lot of hype for this video. At the beginning of the week, Rockstar changed their Twitter banner to a red color, and everyone freaked the fuck out.
Because we've all been waiting. We all summer, people have been like, people wanted a video at E3 this year. They wanted a video at E3 last year, a reveal, as it were, and we didn't get it.
There was a rumor that it was going to be at Sony's E3, but then there was that club shooting in California, I think is what it was.
Yeah, in Miami.
Yeah, and...
or was it, Orlando.
Yeah,
it was
Orlando.
Florida.
Yeah, it was Orlando. Florida, yeah. So there was the rumor that they pulled that at the last minute, and that's why we got the biker zombie game. Whatever.
Yeah.
We got that instead, and that's why a lot of people were just sort of like, well, that's not the best way to end a show, and I think it was because they had something planned that was going to be the big closer.
That video. The video we got.
I don't know. I don't think that video would have been as controversial because there wasn't any shooting in there.
Okay.
The rumor was that it was going to do a playthrough of them shooting up a bar.
Okay.
Like that they were going to try to go in. It was a mission that took place in a bar.
A saloon.
That was the rumor. Doesn't matter. We got our official trailer. We didn't get much from it. Except that the game looks gorgeous.
It looks beautiful. Some of those forest scenes, yeah, dude, it looks great. I don't know what else we would be expecting other than something that just looks immaculate and amazing.
I didn't play a lot of the first Red Dead Redemption, but I remember fondly staring at the night sky.
The night, for some reason, that sticks with everyone. That is like a beautiful atmospheric game that just, there's something just very, just how it sticks with you, like riding through, like playing at night. Like I played that game a lot at night in the dark. God, it leaves such an impression on you.
Well, most
riding
people
through that environment.
Most people around the world will never see a natural starry sky.
Yeah.
I went to Colorado years ago, and when we were out in the middle of nowhere and it was nighttime and I saw that sky, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. This is what, I don't even really live in a city. I live in the suburbs, but I never see anything like that. And that was one of those things that it's like being out in that wilderness, and it's just like, we know what trees are. We know what cougars are. We know what these things are. You don't know what that fucking starry sky looks like. And that just grabbed me.
It sticks with you. I think the thing that was most special about that game to me was that I didn't play a lot of GTA 4. I was turned off by a lot of GTA 4. When I go to GTA, I don't want realism. Sure. I think they started to get away from that. I want to fly at 100 miles an hour and hit someone and not fly through the front of my windshield.
Yeah.
Or fly off of my motorcycle.
Right.
I love San Andreas. It's still kind of my favorite Grand Theft Auto game, I think. I love the way, I think they nailed the tone. I think they nailed the, I really like the RPG aspects to it.
Yeah.
I love CJ. And I love all the characters that are in that game. And I think, I don't know, for some reason GTA 4 kind of turned me off. Red Dead was everything I wanted. Red Dead Redemption is just a shitload of fun to dick around in.
Yeah.
Outlaw posters. I spent hours just sitting at a table playing poker. I would just kind of look down and realize I'd been there sitting at a table for like 2 hours. It's 4 a.m. and for whatever reason I stopped doing missions and decided to sit down and I needed some money or whatever, and I had that cheating suit. You can hide a card in your sleeve and play this little mini game, and if you get it just right, you just slickly switch cards out. I had so much fun tooling around that world. I think John Marston is one of the best protagonists. His voice, the voice actor nails it. The way he carries himself, the way he interacts with other characters, just some of the other the people in that game are great. And the limited amount of time I dicked around with the online is fun.
Yep.
They throw you into a world with other people. You start out with a burrow and you have to figure out some way to gain experience. And for me, that was just trying to get some outlaw missions done while nobody was paying attention to me on my little stupid donkey, and upgrading to a horse as quickly as I could, and kind of became competitive in that area. And all I wanted out of GTA 5 was an online mode that sort of mirrored that, and I think they did that and more, and I'm excited to see where they go with Red Dead now.
So, my history with Rockstar Games, the only one that I've ever finished is GTA 5.
Mm-hmm.
I had put plenty of hours in almost all of the GTAs after GTA 3, starting with GTA 3.
I think that's where most of us were.
I played Bully. I played a few hours of Red Dead Redemption. But a problem that I had with Rockstar Games up until 5, I never felt that they were controlled well.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of GTA 4. There was a lot of good things about that one, but the driving was bad.
Mm-hmm.
The cars
took too much realism.
Poorly. And then Red Dead, I had a problem with the horses. It was great riding them, but then there's always been problems with horses. as great as The Witcher is,
yeah,
the horses are bad in The Witcher. Maybe they fixed it in the patch, but that was one of the things that stopped me from playing The Witcher.
I think Red Dead, at least Red Dead Redemption, has probably did the best with horses out of any game I've played in a long time.
It still just wasn't good enough for me. There were so many aspects of it just wasn't good enough for me.
I agree.
Yeah, I've got such high standards and they didn't meet them. But GTA 5 I loved. I felt that nearly every mechanic in that game was perfect. The shooting, which they took from Max Payne 3, was amazing. The driving felt great, which they, combined that with whatever the special moves that they could do. And you could do a slow-mo driving thing on there. And that just made it...
not Lamar. I always remember his friend's name. I never remember his name.
But yeah, and I didn't put too much time into Red Dead, but I'm so excited for Redemption 2 because they're going to take what they've learned and the engine that they've created and make an exclusive current gen. We're not going to have this is going to be a brand new generation of their engine
from the ground up.
And I'm really excited for it because I know it's going to be an amazing game.
I think I like the path they've gone on where they took everything that was great about Red Dead, put it in GTA. They're going to take everything that was great about GTA and put it back into Red Dead. And I like that. The one thing that GTA 5 doesn't have that Red Dead does is a lasso. And that lasso is the best thing ever. Just riding down the trail, some dude is coming at you, coming towards you, going the opposite way. Deadeye mode. I think I'm gonna lasso this guy. Just whip it, drag him to his death behind you. On a whim. Why not? My friend and I spent about an hour a few months back. I put Red Dead in for shits and giggles, and we stood outside a saloon and lassoed everybody that came out, hog-tied them, and built a pile.
Nice.
And we just, you've got the lasso out and like swinging it around, and we're just stalking behind people and be like, you want to go in the pile, boy? And we just made a pile out of and it's really creepy to look at, 15 just, because they're all hogtied and they're all wriggling.
Right.
And they're all just kind of like this massive pile you can't stack them, but you can get them as close together as you possibly can. And we figured out actually that if you drag them a little bit, you can make the pile a little bit closer together and not spaced out so much. And then weird things start happening because the game does not expect you to have 15 wiggling hog-tied bodies all close together. And so things start glitching out, and it actually it was the most fun I've had playing that game in a long time.
Yeah.
We didn't get anything done. We just built a pile.
We gotta build that pile.
Building the pile.
Are you concerned about where it takes place in the timeline?
I hope they don't. As much as I love John Marston, I hope they don't go back to that well. When you think about it, really, who's done a good prequel?
And my issue with a lot of prequels is it's just we know what this leads to.
Yeah. It doesn't leave you a lot of room.
Yeah. I mean, if for people that don't know anything about it, for someone like me that only kind of knows how Red Dead Redemption ended, a prequel could work for me. I think it would just be better to have its own thing like GTA does, where it kind of takes place in this world, but it's not connected to the previous game.
Yeah. And I think we can expect Rockstar to do that. I don't think the Hazards are big on... They're the story guys. At least they like to think they're the story guys when it comes to Rockstar games. So I don't think they're going to go back to the well on that. There'll definitely be references. I think the part that works so well about Red Dead 1 was the West is dying. And it's the old men dealing with the twilight years of the Wild West.
Sure.
And that's what's so great about the tone of that game. And I don't think that using those characters again, you could have them in their heyday, but I think it would serve them better to maybe go back 30, 40 years and to when those characters aren't really alive or they're not criminals or whatever. I think it would serve them well to go back somewhere else, different setting. Yeah, if you want to have Mexico in there, that's fine too. I really like Mexico in that game as someone who was working in a kitchen at the time with a lot of Spanish-speaking people and just telling them about the different kinds of shit that people were saying to us in that game. Once again, dragging someone behind you, lassoed up, just to hear them yell, "Hijo la puta," which is son of a bitch, basically, is endlessly entertaining. I don't know. I would like to see something completely different.
Sure. For me, I don't have a lot of experience with it. I trust Rockstar. I'm at this point now with how much I loved 5 that I'm just all on board with them. Before that, it was one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I know they make good games and I'll play around with them. I never got like super excited for games, but
they were good for that. I mean, just the beginning of sandbox games in general. I didn't beat 3. I think I managed to beat Vice City just because my friend and I were playing it every day at his house after school. It took me a long time to beat San Andreas, but I eventually did because that game is so massive and huge. I never owned it. I just played it with friends and stuff. So got really far plenty of times. Never really actually had my own playthrough where I finally beat it. I forgot. I was going to ask you. Big question. I don't know how 5 ends, but come on. You took Michael out, right?
I mean, okay, spoilers, I guess, for 5.
No, I don't want to be spoiled. I just want to know you let that little rat snitch fuckface have it, right?
No.
Damn it. All right. I hate Michael. I'm sorry. I just hate him. I can't stand him.
He's a guy I love to hate.
Okay, see that makes a lot more sense to me. I hate Michael.
He's got the Tony Soprano vibe to me.
He's got the family, the fucked up family, and everything. I like Trevor's vibe so much more.
Yeah. All right, so
I think we're going on longer than we thought we were, but
I mean, talking about PSVR, I had a lot to talk about there. This is the reason why we didn't talk about the Switch in this, because we haven't. That would be a 2-hour-long video. I think this will be a good place to end it, though.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other big stories I want to talk about. So yeah, I don't know.
Again, if you want to hear us discuss our reactions and our hopes for the new Nintendo Switch, you can check out that video. You can find us on Twitter at JAVG Podcast, same as our Twitch channel. And I think that's the plugs. Am I missing a plug here?
I've got a video already all edited and ready to go. We're having trouble uploading it. Hopefully by the time you hear this, it should be up somewhere. Luigi's Apartment is either the YouTube channel or the username. For some reason, YouTube will not let me upload anything under Luigi's Apartment. It will let me upload it through my normal Gmail account. And if it comes to that, I will do that and just make a Luigi's Apartment channel. But I really want to keep that Luigi's Apartment name separate. So we played Bugs Bunny's Rabbit Rampage a few weeks back. And I've got the video edited. And you can see us struggle through that.
I'm looking forward to watching that one.
I don't think we're going to be able... with the Nintendo Switch, we're not going to play a game this week, but I've got some videos that I need to get to editing too. I want to get the Wayne Gretzky's... We played Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey last week for a little bit of change of pace, something that's actually fun.
Yeah, I had a good time with that one. And
so I'm going to dick around with that this weekend, hopefully, and have that ready for next week. But Luigi's Apartment. I have the Twitter, I believe, is also Luigi's Apartment, at Luigi's Apartment. So if I manage to get that up, I will say, hey, here's the video, here's the link.
All right, well, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for so much. If you're sitting through this whole thing, if you're listening to us on iTunes, please give us a review. I'm begging you, even if it's a bad one. So we know, if we need to make some changes on here, I'm sure we can accommodate some things.
Yeah, fuck them.
It really helps, though, if you can give us a review on there. Same with YouTube. Do the whole like and subscribe thing, all that. At least subscribe. Please.
Don't get desperate, Jeremy.
I'm always desperate. All right, thanks for listening. See you next time.
All right, have a good one, guys.